One of the problems a lot of people face is staying motivated when it comes to being in the gym and staying on your game. Being motivated is always a challenge, and people are always chasing that almost as much as they're chasing their gains. The bad thing is there is no substitute for discipline, and discipline always eats motivation for breakfast. But motivation is always something that's great to have. So I'm going to give you 4 ways that you can stay motivated, because when you have motivation and discipline, that becomes a game changer, a life changer, and it becomes a fitness changer. I'm B. Christopher, the founder of Weights and Glory. So here are the 4 things that you can do to stay motivated. Science shows that when somebody sets out for a fitness goal or they want to make a change in their lifestyle, within 6 months, 50% of them are going to quit. So motivation is always great if you can get there. So one of the first things you need to do to stay motivated is break down your why. You have to understand why you're actually working out and what it is that's going to be driving you to keep you on the right track. This is one of those 2-for-1 types of deals, because if you figure out what your why is and you have it rooted in the right thing, then not only will that help fuel your motivation, but that will also help fuel your discipline. And when you've got both of those things working together, you always have a much easier time staying on track. Proverbs 29:18 says that where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. And this shows exactly how important it is to make sure that you cast your vision and make sure that it is clear. You have to break things down. You have to know exactly what it is that you're going for, and you need to know exactly why you're going for it. Simply losing weight, or I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 20 pounds, is not enough. What is that 10 or 20 pounds going to give you? Why are you looking for 10 pounds? Why are you looking for 20 pounds off? Those things, when you break that down, now you start getting into the, okay, well, I'm tired every time I'm going up the stairs to the office. I don't get to play with my kids without getting winded, and I'm starting to feel really fatigued. It makes my life so much more difficult on the day-to-day. When you start looking at those things, now you start getting something that's concrete, something you can sink your teeth into, and you know, okay, what you're actually fighting for. You're fighting for a better lifestyle. You're fighting for your family. You're fighting for your kids. And now you've got some real fuel behind it, as opposed to just an arbitrary number. Because nobody really fights for numbers. It's what the numbers lead up to. So the more you're able to break that down, the better it's going to be. One of the things for me is I'm doing this so that I have longevity. And I'm not talking about, oh, I just get to live to be 90 or 100. But I'm talking about I get to live to be 90 or 100 and I'm still in good shape. I'm one of those few people that you see where their life quality is extended drastically, because nobody wants to be taken care of for the next 10 or 20 years and you're in pain all the time. I'm looking at my health and my fitness as a means to continually inspire other people. I'm looking at my health and fitness as ways to show people who God is. And through there, you start finding out more goals and more things that you can do. And then that creates more challenges for you that you can keep aspiring to. And as you're doing those types of things, as you're finding more challenges, that helps keep things from being boring. Which leads me to tip number 2. You want to make sure that you're keeping things interesting. You want to make sure that you have some variability and you're not going through a grind. There are enough things in life, and especially with fitness, where you're gonna have to grind it out. Sometimes things just are not enjoyable and you kind of got to bear with it. But if you throw in some things that are enjoyable, like let's say you love running or you love going on mountain biking, make sure that you incorporate that in your exercise. You can even use that as a reward, because if you're doing your high intensity interval training, if you make sure that you're staying on top of your diet, then that gives you a little more of a reason to say, hey, I get to treat myself and go on this longer biking excursion. You're going to burn calories and you get rewarded with that at the same time. That is going to be a huge win-win, because now you're starting to change things up, get that enjoyability in there, and you're using that to fuel your fitness journey, as opposed to just trying to grind it out. And every day you're about to work out, every time you're looking for a meal, you're saying, what the heck am I even doing this for? Ecclesiastes 3:12 and 13 tells us that I know that there is nothing better for them than to rejoice and to do good in one's lifetime. Moreover, that every man who eats and drinks sees good in all his labor. It is a gift from God. When you're able to look at some treats, we're not talking about a cheat meal, but we're talking about some things that are still healthy, but you can use it as a treat, some things as motivator. When you're talking about parts of your fitness and exercise that are motivators, that are good things, things that you see enjoyable, things that will help you also in the end, those are gifts from God. Take those gifts. But the thing about that is you have to make sure that you're looking for the gift. If you're only looking for the bad things, if you're only looking at the bad things, then that's all you're going to see. One of the traps that people tend to fall into is they end up using a bad thing as a motivator for them staying on the right track. You cannot be motivated to do the right thing with the wrong thing. You have to be motivated to do the right thing with another right thing. So this is where you have to be looking for God's blessings in your fitness journey, in your diet, in your habits, in your routine, and in your workouts. That way then you are starting to spot out, oh, I really enjoy this part. I really like this part. And I'm going to use that to fuel things. Hey, I may hate leg day, but you know what? I cannot wait to work out back and shoulders, because that is where I really feel like I'm making some improvements and I'm really starting to see a big change. Hey, use that as something that can fuel you getting through your work week. You have to make sure that you're looking for the good things, but in order to have good things, you need to make sure that you're putting good things in there. God's already placed them in your midst. You just have to look at them and you just have to seize them. With that being said, that leads us to the third tip is you want to make sure that you make your habits easy. Try to get it to where it's almost as automatic as possible. The first thing that I do with this is a lot of times I'm seeing people who are trying to change 10 or 15 different habits in their lifestyle, and it's overwhelming. Start small. Start with only a few habits. Really focus on those. Yes, there are other things that you need to make sure that you're doing as well. So let's say diet is one of those things that's really difficult for you. Just focus on hydration. Make sure that you're drinking enough water. I'm going to start off with that. As long as I'm getting my water, then I know I'm on the right track, because this is better than what I was doing before. And then let me make sure that I'm waking up and going to bed at a consistent time. Start with those two things. Get that under your belt for the first week or two, then move on to the next habit. Because as you start finding that these habits are all connected together, and as you tackle one, it makes the second and the third one that much easier. This goes into the principle that we find in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, where it says, I run in such a way as to get the prize. You have to make sure that the way that you're running, the habits that you're putting in, are going to lead you up for success. But in order to achieve that success, you have to consistently do them. Consistency is key, and consistency is nothing if those are habits that you're just going to drop. So start off with the easiest ones. Then it'll make the other ones that are not so easy a lot easier to go and put into your daily practice. The thing that you have to remember is we're doing a lifestyle change. We're not talking about crash diets. We're not talking about, okay, I'm going to lose 10 pounds and then just hope that it stays off. Because whatever it is that you do to gain it is what you're going to have to do in order to maintain it. So anything that you do, any change that you make sure that it is one that you can do for the rest of your life. If it isn't, find something else, work on that, then see if that other habit is easier to put into practice, or if there is some other tweak or adjustment that you can make. As you start building these things up, you start building up an army. Look at every single one of these habits as another person that's here to back you up and support you and get things going. The more support you have, the easier it's going to be. So the more habits you build up, the easier it's going to be for you to get to that success point. So stack up as many as you can. There is nothing wrong in stacking up some of the easy habits. This leads us to our fourth habit. You need to set the right environment. Now, setting the right environment is one of those things where you have to make sure that it's tailor-made to you. So when you're talking about working out, for most people, that is getting in a group That's taking a class, having some people there that are going to hold you accountable, having some people there that are going to cheer you on, and you know, okay, I've got this adrenaline rush because I've got all of these people behind me. It's helping me to stay motivated. I'm motivating them. We're all in this together. And this feels like a party as opposed to feeling like some pain. That is a great thing. That is outstanding. So in that case, you might need to find a gym partner. You might need to find a gym buddy. Or you might need to just find somebody at the gym where you're not doing workouts with them, but at least you're checking in and say, hey, I'll see you next Tuesday. I'll see you on Thursday. And then you know that somebody else is going to be looking for you. So you need to show up and make sure that you're getting the workout in. For somebody like me, working out with others is not the thing that helps me at all. It actually oftentimes is a distraction. For some people, working out with others, all it becomes is a talking session. So if you're like me, or if you're a big talker, you want to work out by yourself. Find a nice isolated place. That might be working out at home, setting something up with our resistance band so you're working out in the privacy of your own garage. Or that might be making sure that you get some good tunes, you have a good podcast, or you're listening to a good sermon, you put on your headphones, and then you just zone out. You don't pay attention to anybody. You say hi if somebody acknowledges you, and you acknowledge them back because we don't want to be jerks out there. But you make sure that you stay in the zone. If you're in the zone, and you're just doing this by yourself solo, or it's you and God as you're working out, then hey, that is what sets that right environment for you. And it makes all the difference. So whether this is your time with God by yourself, or whether this is your time with God with other people, both of those things have a significant amount of value. And that changes the environment, which allows you to then go and continue on your game. Even Jesus took some time away from people and he retreated off for prayer. Exercise is a great time for prayer. Should this be your only time for prayer? Absolutely not. But for many people, this is our getaway. So set things up to where it works for you. You get to clear your mind. You get to exercise and take care of that temple that God gave you. And then you keep that progress moving forward. These are the 4 ways that you can make sure that you stay on top of your game. Remember, clarify and set your goals and understand your why. You need to make sure that you're baking in some fun and enjoyment into your exercise routine. You want to make sure that you dial down these good habits, and you need to make sure that you're setting a good environment. If you do those 4 things, I guarantee you, you will see some drastic change in your exercise routine immediately. So, this is B. Christopher. I'm glad that you tuned in. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if there's anything on here that inspired you or showed you, hey, what God's been trying to get you to see all along. But till then, stay fit and stay faithful.